Hey, you tourists, it's your boy Domination. This is Back in the Basic. Chuck of the Deuces, I would do text baby. Remember those back, you know it is. Real men rise up, fake men rise their rule will rise up, fake will rise their breath, the word preacher, preach on. And today's topic to talk about is Anthony Moore, Snoop Dogg is Anthony Moore, Snoop Dogg, right on the roots, the remake for the wrong reason. My thing is this, man. Let's not talk about slavery at all. Now, if you're going to talk about slavery, if you're going to talk about it, show white slavery, show Asian slavery, show Latino slavery. We always think we're the only one. Now, don't get me wrong, there are black slaves. But what's the term? But we always talk about slavery, but we don't want to explain what the origin of that term meant. But I'm going to show you. Slavery is a legal or economy a system in which of the principle of property laws are applied to human allow them to be classified as property, to be owned and bought and sold accordingly, and they are cannot withdraw in the unilaterally from the arrogant rate while a person is slave. The owner is entitled to the productivity of the slave labor, and without any reasonment mean the rights and to protect of the slave may be regulated by the laws and the custom in a parliament of times and place, and a person may becomes a slave from the time of their capture and purge or birth. Okay, hear more of this. Today, chattel slavery is unlawfully in all countries, but a person may still be described as a slave if he or she is forced to work for another person without a budget of a budget on their part of it to be readily late interpreted the arrogantly much is much a situation are today and commonly referred to as practice familiar to slave. The present form of the slave trade is commonly referred to as human traffic. But here it is. Slave existed before written history and in many cultures. It was once and situationally recognized by most in society, but has now been outlawed in all countries. In all countries, the last being in immortality in 2007. However, it's continued through much of the practice as Dick bondage, and self domestic and domestic of service, keep it in catchability and readily of the document in which the children are forced to work as slaves, children soldiers, human traffic, and forced marriage. Accordingly, there are more slaves today than at any time in history, without the rate 20 million to 36 million slaves worldwide. But here's the problem. But what does the word slave means? What does it mean? And the terminologies. The English word slave comes from Old French, slavery, from the medieval Latin, slavery, from the of Greeks, which in turning coming from the ethnic of Slav, because in some early medieval wars, many Slav are captured and enslaved. A old theory is all theory connected to the Greek and readily to strip or stain an enemy. That's what the word slave means. To strip or stain an enemy. How come nobody explained this? How come they don't explain black Americans? Look, we've been lying to you for so many years, and we apologize, we sorry, we wrong for that. Yeah, they get people believe. White people like this. You part of us, but at the same time, you're not a part of us. What gives them anything to write? If somebody said, "Oh, we're part of white people, you're a part of us," but at the same time, you're not a part of us, it would have still been wrong. Why does not talk about on school? Why does not talk about what the word slave? It came from the word Slav. And I'm gonna tell you something. Who's responsible for this is the elders that should have told them where this word came from. See, it goes to show you. No wonder why elders believe that the Jim Crow law is one of the worstest laws in history. And guess what that law come from? The man name is Thomas D. Rice. Thomas D. Rice. He's a goddamn Irish, or goddamn German, or Britain, whatever he is. Why this not talking about? But I'm gonna read more of this. There is a put along with the modern history about however the term is enslave a person rather than a slave should be used when describing the victim of slavery. According to those in the proposement, a change in technology, the slave interpreted today the crime of slavery in language by reducing its victim to a non-human, instead of, according to the Adelaide and Combo Lloyd, carry them forward as the people, not the property that they are. Only historians prefer a slave because the term is familiar and short, or because it's accordingly reflected the inhuman of slavery, with the person applying a degree of authority that slavery did not allow for. Basically, what they're trying to tell you, that you can't do everything on your own. That means you got to get everybody to do everything for you, that you couldn't do everything for yourself. If I offer you some food, that means that you can't cook the food for yourself? No, you want to cook the food for yourself instead of offer you some. I'm just offering you some of the food that you couldn't even afford that I could afford. It's like this. If a rich person can have a big house, big mansion, big cars, he have everything. But one thing that rich people do not have is their happiness. Why? Because they've been taught that everything as the world has evolved them as rich people. And I'm not mad at them for that, but I see why they believe this. What do the poor people believe? Poor people, they rob and steal and kill, right? Yeah, but some poor people don't do that. Even rich people do that as well. They rob and steal and kill and get everything they have and make sure nobody else ain't getting anything till they get anything. And look within for no one else but themselves. But how come rich people, they got everything they have and they still not happy? That don't make no sense. But the rich people, they work for what they have and what they got. It doesn't matter if they have everything, as long as they have a little love, a little share. Rich people don't have that. They have everything, but they still don't have love. They all about power, lust for power, uprising power. They don't have true power. Be true to within yourself and grace for the Lord for anything that make it possible for you and your family. Why that's not been talking about? Look at chattel slavery, bond labor, and forced labor and forced marriage. You need to study this stuff. You need to study this stuff. But if you don't study this stuff, then how can you understand? Yeah, the word slavery came from a group of people called themselves the Slavs. Why that's not been talking about? Why that's not been talking about? These are Slavic people. These are Slavs. Who are the Slavic people? Poland and Zikavician and Slovakian, that's in Western Slavs. The Eastern Slav is the chiefly Russian, Belarusian, and Ukrainian. That's the Eastern Slavs. The Southern Slavs are Chieftain and Servatian and Bodogunian and Kothian and Bodnikian and Makadashian and Intervakian and Macedonian. Yeah, these are South Slavs, Eastern Slavs, Western Slavs, and there's Northern Slavs too. Why is it that they never explain what the word slave means and where they come from? I always been taught that the blacks were the first slave, but then I come to find out it wasn't blacks, it was whites. Who slaved white people? Is it Moors? Is it Knight Templars or the Mongols? To speak of fame. Yeah. Famous. To be called. Yeah, look what it says, the word slave. Slavs. Denoted for foreigner. Denoted the foreigner people. And sort of meaning silence mid of people. From Slavic. And mid and mumble. You know, they mumble. They make sure that they get them silent, for they can't discuss about it. They don't want to be discussed in the public. Anybody who speak the same language, they're understood for each other. Yeah, go look it up, the word Slav, people, because this what your true slaves. See, we've been lied to since the beginning with, and the people who are responsible for that should know better. Why it's not talking about that? Why it's not been talked about? Fuck this damn slavery movie. Fuck this whole tired slave period from any race. The word slave came from the word Slavs. Black people is connected to these people right here. That's Eastern European and Western and Southern European and Northern European. Why this not been talking about? Why? How long they gonna keep on these lying? How come they don't want to tell the truth and say, yo, man, the Ku Klux Klan ain't nothing but the reincarnation of the Knight Templars? And this explains why Freemasons. This explains the Freemasons was founded because of the Knight Templars, because of them, because. And I'm not upset, but I'm saying to you, please look at this up. If you think I'm lying to you, go look it up. Pass all this information, because people need to know this shit. Why that's not been talking about? Why? Yeah, go look at the word Slav, and you find out what that word means. Y'all better wake up, man. How come Dr. Phil Walkers? How come you don't explain this, brother? Because you knew all this. You come from you went to a university high school. Come on now. Everybody knows black people do not own no banking unless it came from Britain or came from France or Spain. This is why they bring the Mexican and use them for cheap labor to make the money off the British people, the royal families. Yeah, the wealthy people, the elite people, the elitists, dumb motherfuckers, the rich, which establish a rich people in this country. You got to deal with 1% of wealth of people. Dr. Phil Walkers, you know all this. And Athlete or more and Snoop Dogg is right on the roots thing. They want to keep reminding you, telling that you need white people. You need to depend on white people. But yet, they're the ones that depend on you. They can't make money without you. You can't make your money without them. Why this not been talking about? Fuck this slavery shit. Fuck it. And I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Who they are and why they need to be exposed. See, they fucking with the wrong person. And excuse my language, from the name of the man upstairs of the heaven above. These some evil people, man. These are evil people. They put it right in your face. And it's all connected between the Jesus Christ death, thinking that it has something to do with John the Baptist plays a part of his murder. No. Jesus played a part of John the Baptist's murder. And this fallen treasure going on with the Jesus Cup and the Holy Grail thing. I don't know how true that is. And there's verses between angels and demons that nobody wants to talk about. And then just talking about these alien invasion. It's hard to believe, but look at Area 54 for example. They got a weather machine that control every goddamn thing. Prince even said they playing chemtrails since he was a kid, and all of a sudden he just died out of the blue, out of nowhere. That tell me
That tells me we live in a world. I'm going to tell you something else. This world ain't nothing but a goddamn circus. They want to keep us dumb. They want to keep us not being inclusive, not being aware of what's going on. And I'm going to tell you something else. Shihad Ali, she talk all this stuff, but you mean to tell me she can't explain the word of feminist came from French? It came from a one man, and who's responsible for that, his name is Charles Forward. That's his name, Charles Forward. The man was born in Panama, France, April the 7th, 1772. And he was born in Panama, France. He died October the 10th, 1837. He was 65 years old, and he lived in Paris, France. I mean, he lived in Panama, France, and he died in Paris, France. Why are they not talking about this man? How come black women not talking about this man? How come white women don't talk about this man? Because they know all this. This damn feminist is started from a man, and he said traditional marriage gonna hurt women. And chance through never been married. That means that they are killing their produce. They're killing their produce. This is why that women have a hard time having children. Why? Why it's not been discussed? Why it's not been talking about? They can't ignore it. And I'm going to say to you, government, if you don't want this stuff to coming out, then you need to build the word. Look, the word slave came from the group of people named Slavs, that they were slaves by their own people of other group of people. Whoever slaves Slavic people. And it got something to do with the damn Moors. I'm telling you right now. If we don't solve this damn problem in the next couple more years, they're going to repeat the same cycle that they can't get out. And they know hating is wrong. They know it's not right. But you do it anyway. You worship Satan. White folk and black folk and Latinos and Asians all worship Satan before anybody. But you afraid of him. Did you know that the God said that he control between good and evil? Y'all didn't know that? God controlled the good and the evil. If you believe in him, if you die for him, he will meant everything you do. Y'all better wake up as long as you can. I'm telling you right now with your ignorant ways. Fuck this damn slavery, but it came from a group of people called Slavs. But they don't want to tell black Americans you're related to Europeans. They don't want to say that. They don't want to tell the Africans like, yo, even though you sold your own people, they got the Europeans sold their own race. And Asians did the same thing. Nobody wants to say anything. I don't give a damn if we live in a secret society. The truth needs to come out. The truth is out. And all you got to seek it and look for it, because you're not going to get it from these leaders. You're not. They're working with the same evilment of people. And don't think the Ku Klux Klan and the Black Panthers are not working side by side and say, look, man, we got to manipulate these people as far as possible. I got a father right now could not stand Mexican. He don't even understand why. But I think I know why, because they taking the jobs away from blacks. But wait a minute, black people. There are certain jobs we don't want. So we cannot get mad at Mexicans for that. We cannot get mad. They are just as much a slavery than you are. The word slave has come from the word Slav. Then you got white Americans. They've been slaved by their own people. Just as much as blacks been slaved by their own people. Asians been enslaved by their own people, but nobody wants to speak about that. Nobody. Native Americans too. How do they know if they wasn't even there at the time? I wasn't even there. But if you look up in Wikipedia.com and find out the word slave, here are the real slaves right here. Understand this. No more slavery movies. But at the same time, Snoop Dogg, he did some things that he shouldn't have been doing, gang banging and all that, and he had to live with all the sin he had to do. He had to live with that. So they look at Snoop. You can't talk. You've done a lot of things in your life. Yeah, Snoop did that. But he got a few points about saying that if they're gonna show, and they even said Alex Hayes is a fraud. Now I don't know if Alex Hayes is a fraud or not, and he stole the idea from a white novel, man. It was called a book called Africa. And they took all they did. If Kunta Kinte is so real, then how come they ain't found the real Kunta Kinte family and interview them and say, yo, we the family of Alice Hayes family, right along with Kunta Kinte. And show the tribe of people of Africa. Show it. Then people believe in slavery. Other than that, nobody gonna believe it. Then show all the slave boats that brought blacks all the way over here. Ain't nobody gonna believe it. If they brought the blacks over here, where the hell white folks and Asians and all the rest of them, how they got here too? I guess they came along? They ship them along? There's no way. You cannot explain this to me. This country was taken by the Native Americans. Just like South America, that's the Malay, right? The Malay people. The Latinos, brothers and sisters, the Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, the Mexicans, all of them. All of them. Then you got the people of Antarctica, right along with the coast of European and all this other stuff. And of course away from North America. Then you look at the Aborigines. Then you look at Asians. Then you look at of Europe and the Middle East and Africa. Y'all better wake up. That's all I'm going to tell you. There's 7 and 6 continents, and they claim that Atlantis is a real place that the white people claim they from there. But yet, where is it? It's bullshit. This whole slavery is a goddamn fucking fraud. It really is. But if you want to believe that, you go right ahead and do so. I'm not buying it. And I'm holding everybody responsible for this. The government, the goddamn young people, and young people don't even know all that. They're not interested in their stuff. Especially millennials, they're not into that. They into the whole Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. They're not into that stuff. And young old people know that. You were young once. You was roller skating into a park in the street somewhere. You drive your first car. Young people gonna do some stupid thing when they're young, and there's no excuse for people. Young people do need to know about, because once they get old, they can't do the things they do how they were young. But older people got to look at, well, you were young once. You did a lot of things. You lied at one time. I'm not good at lying, but I'm gonna tell you this though. I had my mistakes, and I learned from it. At least I got older. I should have known this a long time ago. That's why young and dumb and old and wise. But sometimes the wise is misled the good and not led the truth. Tell the young people the truth, because sooner or later these young people are gonna find out anyway that you hold something from them. You hold something from them. Tell them that Asians and whites and blacks all brothers and sisters. They is. And the only reason why they fighting each other is because it got something to do with people invading Africa, people invading Europe and Asia. And racism did start off from Europe. It really did. But it really started off when the Moors, after they went to Africa, invaded Europe. This is why. Then the Knight Templars invaded Africa. Then Asians invaded of Europe and Africa. Then the Middle East played a part of that. Then Aborigines, they didn't do nothing wrong. But because what the Moors did, they have to pay the punish the cost what the Moors did. That's something the Moors, they got to be blamed the Moors. The Aborigines had nothing to do with what happened in Britain. But because all this, let me say to this though. Whatever the truth may be, the truth will come out sooner. I don't know too much truth. I only know I can find. But I tell you this though, and that's something y'all got to ask. I mean, people want to be free, man. You can't get mad at them for that, but you got to let them go. And that's what black people do. We holding each other back, but we don't want to let each other go. We won't let it go. It's time to let them go. Let them free now. And whites need to do the same thing. If you hold something back from them, they know you're lying to them. Children is just like a bird in there. It's time them when they can leave and when they can fly. Let them go. Because you're hurting yourself, you hurting anything else. Hear my warnings for whites and blacks. Y'all better make peace right now. Because if you don't do that, it's going to hurt you and your community, anything else. And that goes to Asian too. And that bullshit commercial that Asian did. But Asian, I guess y'all forget that y'all been making fun of by whites And not only blacks. And you turn around and make fun of whites and blacks because they make fun of you. Let's say this. People need to stop making fun of people, period. And no more racist jokes. No more racist slurs. Black people need to stop making fun of people if they don't want somebody to make fun of them. Asians need to stop making fun of people if nobody wants to make fun of them. White people need to stop making fun of people if they don't want people to make fun of people. They don't want to make fun of them. People need to stop, period. All races. If y'all can't learn to live with each other, how y'all gonna learn to respect one another? This hate gotta stop sooner or later. One way, or it's gotta stop one way or another, or anything else. Anything question might be described of this. So what do you make your adjustment? What it's gonna be, people? It's, you know what the time is the right thing. I'm done with slavery. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna do it because it's a fraud. And if slavery is real, it takes 6 months to build the boats, and there's sharks in the water. So how the hell that black people came all the way from Africa to over there to South America to North America? Who gonna believe that? Who? If we gonna swim to shore right now, we can die in the deep end of the water and get eaten by the damn shark. You can't even drive a plane at the brain as a rufficated storm gonna hit and strike the lightning off the storm of that boat. They gonna get stuck by traffic by a goddamn a mountain somewhere. I'ma calm down, man. It's time that they need to learn the truth. Tell them the truth, people. Do the right thing. And learn by your mistakes. And let them live for once together. All races. If you don't, you're the problem. And that's something that the system got to fix. And that's something that elders got to fix. And let the young people make it better for the next generation to come. That's all I can say. And I'm counting on young people. Because they are the ones, are the new future. They got to make it better. But you instead you holding them back because you don't want them to make the same mistakes as you made. Whatever the truth may be, everybody has the right to be free. Everybody, let alone black. Black people need to be free. So white America, let them go. Because you were slaves, you was once in pain, and you know what it feels like. And the Klan need to be stopped. They should have been stopped a long time ago. And Ku Klux Klan, we know who you are. And you ain't nothing but a goddamn Knight Templar. And that's what you is. And we already know who the Black Panthers is. They ain't nothing but a goddamn Moors. And this explains why Crips and Bloods and the goddamn Hells Angels and all the rest of them are descendants from that. Then it explains why the Chinese Triads and Yakuza people are descendants of the Mongols. Where you think the Shaolin monks are descended from? The Mongols. And they came from Shennis Khan, whatever his name is. It came from him. And you mean to tell me Asian ain't got the Knight Templars blood? They ain't got the Moors blood? Oh yeah. And whites got the Moors blood. Blacks got the Knight Templars blood. If all you gotta do is look into the brat where she was wearing a goddamn black iron cross. The same cross that Hitler was wearing. No wonder why they call Obama Black Hitler. Because they try to say Hitler got some black ancestors somewhere. Yeah, they need to talk to Hitler's lost relative family. And did y'all know that Obama and Bush are distant cousins? Because I've been saying this for a long time. Blacks and whites been fucking each other for years, so what else is new? If they hated white people so bad, then why you still doing business with them? I don't understand that. And white people, if you hate black people so bad, why you still doing business? Black people, white people, if you hate black people so bad, why you doing business with them? You can't make it without them. They can't make it without you. All slavery is that you got to depend on other people, that you got to depend on your own people. If you can't depend on your own race and depend on other race, you got to depend. Only person you got to want to depend on is yourself. Because they think that you can't do it on your own. They got to do everything for you that you couldn't even do everything for yourself. And that goes to any men or women. That people need to let them have their space. And maybe they can get up in a way in higher society. But see, they want to hold everybody else's back because they make sure they ain't going to get anything because they ain't got nothing. That's not right. And the ones who got something, they make sure nobody else ain't got nothing until they're the ones who should be getting something and no one else. That's not right. Everybody should get better, share the same opportunities as everybody else. But some people want different opportunities. That's just the way it is. You can't expect to bring blacks and whites together. They got to come together as themselves. And hopefully make the peace within their own people. Because we're going to keep having these problems. If this problem don't stop. And hope the Asia can fix the issues between blacks and whites. I hope that the issue be fixed between Latinos and black. Because it's stupid. They use them as pawns. This is what they use the whites. The whites are too dumb. They can't figure it out that, y'all can't stand each other at times. I mean, only white lives matter when it's matter when a black person kill a white person. The only black lives matter when a black person get killed by a white person. Let's stop killing each other, period. Okay? How's that sound? Women need to stop using men, and men need to stop using women. And that's when men stop raping women, because otherwise women wouldn't feel this way. Well, what do you think rough sex came from? Rough sex came from rape. This is why people need to go back to making love. They need to start making love again as couples. If you can't find somebody, let them go. You need to spend time with yourself, but don't take your anger and your frustration on the wrong person, because sooner or later it's going to hit towards you. But all I can say about this, keep a hope and keep God blessed, and everything's going to be all right. You'll see. Got to make it better, break it better. And this Islam, y'all full of shit. We know who you are too. You the damn Moors, and this explains why. So we got to make a better future as a whole. That's all I got to say about that. And Snoop Dogg is right. We need to start trying something else. Black people are more than slaves. They people like everybody else. And this whole thing that they feel more outraged than the gorilla, than the children. If that's the case, people need to stop eating animals. But they ain't going to do that. Because otherwise it wouldn't be no burgers, it wouldn't be no bacon, it would be none of this stuff. Some animals need to be used as pets, as treat as better as animals, and people need to start treating animals, start treating people better as a people. They gotta treat young and old, and on young people you can't get mad at elders. A lot of times they don't know, and they don't want you to make the same mistakes they made. But it's up to elders. Got to decide to let young people make decisions they got to make to the benefit of the future. And women can be better women, men can be better men. And it's sad, man. It's sad that we live in a world, a lot of hatred, a lot of evilness. And believe me, evil will stop. And that's when the grace of good will do all the great bidding and the greatization in the world. You'll see. That's all I got to say about that. We can try something else. That's all. And it's your boy Domination. This is Back of the Base. The Church of the Deuces. How it takes, baby. Until next time. All right. Peace. I'm out. All right. Peace.